So take a photo of that if you like. That's my recipe. If you follow that recipe, things just kind of seem to work out. You know, like if you follow the recipe to bake a cake, the cake kind of works out. If you follow this recipe, it kind of works out with you getting funding. All right. So business credit initially is going to be extended based on your personal credit. So if you get it to around 640, 720, you're in great shape. You don't have to have an 800. Really don't. If you have over 7, it's really sweet. A lot of my clients have 550s and we're able to get them the funding they need because we use different platforms and strategies than traditional banks. So when the banks say no, not yet, then we can help people get to that time period till they get ready for the banks. That's one thing I specialize is getting people bank ready. Number 2, make sure you have your entity in place. So having your entity in place is really the jump off, right? So wifey and I went to Dollar Bank and we sat down and said, yeah, we want to open up a bank account. They said, oh, okay, cool. We're going to put $500 in the bank account. Oh, good, you got money. Good. Do you have here are our entity papers? Had our EIN number, had our LLC, had our letter of good standing from the state. We had all the docs, right? All the docs. You're like, oh man, you got everything. That's great. Would you like some funding? We just wanted to open a business account. But I knew this was coming because I have 3 or 4 business accounts. And every time that I've gone through that process, if I put some money on the table, if I have my entity in place and my credit's pretty decent, they say, hey, would you like some funding? And we say yes. Sometimes I say no, but it's really that easy to start off your process. So just go to the bank, have a relationship with a banker, have your documents in place, put some money into the bank. In most cases, they're going to say, would you like a credit card? And that's how you can start getting funding for your business. All right, so you can get business credit from business credit card stacking. I'm going to go over that in a second. Then receipts, collateral, and receivables. One of the firms I work with, if you have receipts to demonstrate, and when I say receipts, you're really looking at your bank statement for 3 months. If your bank statement for 3 months demonstrates that you make $3,000 or more per month, then we can look at 1.5%, 1.7%, 2% possibly, based upon your projected yearly annual income for your business. Now, the rates are going to be higher than Dollar Bank. So this is one of the strategies you use if Dollar Bank says not yet. Because their no's are really just not yet. It's like your stuff ain't ready yet. All right. So when a bank says no, you know, Wells Fargo, Bank of America say no, I'm able to provide those type of funds as long as you can prove that you're making a profit. Now, profit. So look, here's the deal. A lot of us were taught that we want to write off as much as possible to reduce our personal taxes, right? But when you sit down with that bank or you sit down with a fund that wants to invest in you, and if your business is not making a profit, why would they invest with you? All right. President Trump has over 300 LLCs. I said, when I learned that, I was like, okay, why would that happen? Then I studied and I found out that one takes all the losses, the others that are separated from his personal taxes are profitable. Oh, I can do that too. You can do that too. So we can do that too. So credit stacking, it's pretty simple. One of the firms I work with, you submit some information to us, they do a soft pull, they determine if they think we can get, some credit for you. If so, they ship that information out to like 300 places. Out of 300 places, you want to get about 10% return. So I did it, and within 30 days, I had $80,000 offered to me. I didn't take it all. I probably should have, but I didn't at the time because I was a little scared. I have to admit, I was scared. It was, whoo, yeah. But I see it happen, and I've been doing that now for the last 4 years with different clients. So credit card stacking is a strategy, and it's not illegal. You do put yourself on the line, because in many of those cases at the very bottom, they're going to say, hey, you're the personal guarantor, you're the PG on this. So if things fall apart, we coming after you. Don't let things fall apart. All right, so that's one strategy, credit card stacking. The company that Taniki and I actually work with together provides money if you have receivables, if you have equipment, and if you have income. So you show that you're making $3,000 or more every month or more, you get those rates I talked about, 1.5, 1.7, maybe even 2, right? Lines of credit, it could be just a traditional loan. That all works out. If you can show that I have this invoice that's going to be paid by the government or other companies. With this company, it doesn't have to be just the government. The government is a safe joint, but you can demonstrate that you have these receivables coming. They can give you loans on that as well. And then collateral. If you have some tangible, let's say you're a doctor, right? And you have some equipment in your office that's valuable that could be resold and make their money back. They'll give you a loan based on that collateral. If you're a contractor and you have a dump truck or you have this specialty truck that's worth something, that collateral will get you a loan. Once again, it's going to be higher than a traditional bank, but this is just a strategy you use for a short term, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, until you're able to be bankable again. That makes sense? All right, so that's one of the firms we work with, and we do that all the time. So 2 pictures. The first picture is my family investment group. We meet once a month. Once a month, we all contribute into our shared multi-member LLC, and we invest in stocks, we invest in REITs, we invest in startups. You can do the same thing. Multi-member LLC, we get together, we decide what we're going to invest in. Every so often, we may go a month or 2 without investing, but yeah, it's pretty regular. We're actually more people than that. That was like our 3rd year. We're at 5 years now. So something you might want to look into. And then my beautiful family, interesting story. My daughter and her spouse live in Chicago. And, so my kid-in-law, my son, my daughter, me, and my wife, right? So my daughter and my kid-in-law live in Chi-Town, and they were getting an apartment. And so they were getting an apartment with some roommates, and the leasing agent said, hey, we're going to have to get we're going to have to get someone else to sign for you, for everybody. And so my daughter said, Dad, I need you to sign. Nah, I ain't doing that. I don't sign for my wife. She don't sign for me. We don't co-sign. In the Bible and in the Quran and in another religious text, it says never to co-sign for people. Banks are really savvy with money. Banks know what they're doing, right? So if a bank would be like, I don't trust that person, and they don't know them, does that make sense? That makes a lot of sense, right? So don't co-sign. If the person needs some money, give them the money. Don't co-sign for them. So I told my daughter that. Of course, she didn't like it. She mad. I was like, you're not going to need a co-signer. Trust me. You don't know what you're talking about, Dad. Hung up. 2 days later, Dad, I don't need a co-signer. I know. When my daughter was 3, I put her on 2 of my Tradelines. I keep pretty good credit. So my daughter is 23 now, but her credit score is like 33 years old. Did the same thing with my son. So they both have excellent credit right now. They actually have better credit than I do. They never seen the credit cards. As soon as they came in, I put them in the fireplace. I activated them, then I put it in the fireplace. They never know what the numbers are, but it benefits them. So that's something that you can do. That's something that I do for a lot of my clients. If your credit score will be boosted by having a better history, or if your credit score would be boosted by having a better payment history or more extended credit, being placed on my or somebody else's trade lines, I call it a boost. I don't call it credit repair. She does credit repair. I do credit boost. I just put you on 1 or 2 credit lines. It'll jump up 20, 30. I've seen it jump 80 scores, or 80 points. Short term, within that time, 3 months maybe, within 3 months, you get your own stuff, right? Then I take you off of mine. Your score is going to go down when I remove you because I have good credit. But now you got your own stuff and you don't necessarily need me. So we have a number of clients in Black Brand who I've put on for about 3 months. They bought their house. They got their car. They got whatever they needed. And then they were able to continue moving on in a more positive light. And if you have a good score, you can do that. If you don't, you can find me. All right. So I think I went through it pretty quickly. Oh, I gave them recipe earlier, and these are my things to look out for. Yeah, don't use your personal credit for business after you've earned business credit. The key word there is after, right? After you've earned business credit, just use business credit. All right, cool. Don't co-sign for nobody. I told you that. Don't go it alone. There's safety in numbers. And seek to protect yourself. Insurance is important. And insurance can be a policy. It could be a group of people who are seasoned, who've done things that you're looking to do. It could be books, could be podcasts, it could be information that you glean, could be going to conferences and rubbing shoulders with people. All of that will provide you with some surety that will prevent you from having some of the challenges. All right. And lastly, there's going to be some downtimes. I'm going through one right now, and it's hard. But those good times are so good. And I know they're right around the corner. Any questions, any thoughts? If the funder, bank, lender doesn't feel comfortable with you, they want to vet everything. If they feel comfortable with you, they vet fewer things. They got to check. They may only have to check 1 through 10, but if they're not comfortable, they may have to check 1 through 20. All right. So, should you have a non-Gmail account? Some of my clients, it really didn't matter. Other clients, it did matter because the person that they sat down with didn't feel comfortable with it. There's a lot of discretion that goes along with this. And these people are paid to be discreet and to have discretion, right? So they have to protect their entity, their bank, their employer, their fund possibly, as much as they can. So I've seen people with Gmail accounts get business funded. I've seen a few people, just a few, be rejected, but I wasn't there in the meeting, so I don't know everything that was on there. All right, do they have to have a website? It helps. It always presents you better. It's definitely going to get you more customers. Will it get you business funding? That's just something on the application, right? So it might be important to that bank. It might be important to Dollar Bank. It may not be as important to Truist. I can't answer that on a flat answer saying yes. I would say this, get the website. Hey, just have everything in order. So when they go through that checklist, if it's 1 through 10 or 1 through 20, you get all the checks. I want you to get all the checks. So I would say go ahead and do that. One thing I found about funding is the best time to get funding is now. Yeah. So I wouldn't wait until everything is perfect pursuing it, because in the pursuit of it, a lot of times they're going to have to tell you what you were negligent in, what you were deficient in, right? So once you know what you got to do, you do those things and you go back, right? So I'm not a big proponent of waiting till your score is at this point. You just got to go to the right place, all right? I wish I could give you a really solid answer on that, but it's so discretionary that You know, when a bank is having a good time, they're a little more lackadaisical, right? But when they're under scrutiny, they're a little tighter. Right now, my wife and I fix and flip properties. Right now, banks are like, nah, you got to have like a 60% LTV before we even look at it. 2 years ago, 75% LTV were good. It's a lot more restrictive, but it's not going to be that way in 2 or 3 months from now. It's going to change. So depending upon where that entity, that funder, that lender is with their own personal situation, will really kind of determine how they handle each incoming application. And the good thing is, once they say no, they're going to tell you why, and you can take care of those things. So I would say don't wait. Find out what you need to know. If you find out they're saying yes, you're good. If you find out they're saying no, you know what you need to do to get to the yes. All right. But I'm not afraid of rejection. So if you really want your business to flourish, when I was I went to Hampton University, and one of the groups I was really hanging around with, a bunch of guys, guy came over to me and says, like, yo, Seko, man, you just standing around at these parties, all these women here. I was like, I asked her, both said no. He said, it's a 10 to 2 ratio. You ask 10 girls to dance, 2 of them will dance with you. Once they see you having a good time, your ratio goes up. I was like, oh, I just got to play the numbers. I found out that works almost in everything in life. The more you swing that bat, the more hits you're going to get. The more you shoot your shot, the more shots you're going to get. The more you run those balls, the more touchdowns you're going to get. So run the ball. Hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions? Yes. You'd be surprised. Like, one of the things I did to pull myself out of my credit hole, which I was in like 25 years ago, is I did some consolidations. You know, I had owed all these people. They had me like 25%. And I got one card that said, hey, we're going to give it to you at 17%. And you could do a balance transfer. And what I ended up doing was taking some from each one of these other things, putting it on that card, keeping that card right at 30%. That dropped down the usage on the credit usage on the others. My score went up. And when my score went up, I got another offer. Hey, we can do you at 17. We can do it at 19. You know, Discover Card is going to kill you, right? But I was able to move those balances from other cards onto cards, even though and I just kept the usage low. And by doing that, my score went up. I got better offers, better terms, and I was able to get myself out of the hole in about 3 years. So being really strategic can work for you. I know it can work for you. And so the QR code right here, that if you click that, we can exchange information. Any other questions? I know y'all been here for a minute. I've been through B-Force twice. Whoo, those nights. They long. But I'm glad we got a chance to chat. You're in the right place with the right people at the right time. Because this type of activity was limited to certain people for such a long time. And now we can make sure that we all benefit from it. All right? All right, have a great day.
Give them to Seko Varner and Tamiki Riddick.
We'll stay in contact, man.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.